The City of London. It is 1665. The winter is harsh. The Thames itself has frozen solid for the second year in a row. Londoners huddled together in overcrowded tenements and garrets. There are open drains flowing down the centre of filthy, winding streets. The cobbles are slippery with animal dung and awash with sewage. Ugh, disgusting! The stench is overwhelming, and people walk around with handkerchiefs or nosegays pressed against their nostrils.
Greetings, good people. My name is Mary, and I am a fishwife. I sell fish brought up the River Thames from the coast. It is cold today, though. This winter tastes terrible, and with the Thames frozen over, the boats cannot bring the fish up river. No fish today. We fishwives are poor and look down upon by all. I live here in Bethel Street. Well, when I say street, I mean a tiny alleyway between tenements, but I get by, and that is better than most. In the last few years, London has become overcrowded, and most people are very poor. Late last year, a strange falling star appeared in the sky. We Londoners were fearful, wondering what evil event it would tend to.
A plague has ravaged Europe for over 400 years. It surges, killing thousands, and then disappears as mysteriously as it appears. It arrives in London aboard a Dutch cargo ship just before the river freezes over. It is carried by rats, who themselves carry fleas, the bite from which will give you the plague. But no one in 1665 knows this. In April 1665, a single case of plague is recorded in Covent Garden, and by early May, this has grown to 11 cases. The authorities order all dogs and cats to be destroyed. This of course allows the rats to flourish, but the fleas have now infected people, and those people also carry lice. Lice and fleas on clothing and bedding now spread from the plague from person to person. Londoners think the terrible disease is carried on the air, in bad smells. Soon doors all over the city carry the mark of the plague, a painted red cross. Inside, plague sufferers are imprisoned by their own friends and neighbours.
The rich are fleeing London. The king has fled and all the clergy are leaving. I thought they were supposed to protect people. The government seemed to be doing nothing. To leave the city, you have to have a special certificate of health to get through the city gates. I tried, but I was turned away. The doctors in their fearful masks visit the dying, but little can be done. Their treatments are both scary and useless. Adults and children have been told to smoke tobacco to prevent catching it. Children can be flogged if they refuse to smoke, as they are more vulnerable to this terrible pestilence.
By early June, over 200,000 people have fled, and only the poor remain in the city. In August, over 7,000 people a week are dying, but it's likely to be many more. Even the doctors in their beaked masks are overwhelmed and stop visiting. There's nothing even they can do. It is unbearably hot. Flies swarm across the city as the dead pile up. Church bells ring for every death. This death knell is heard all across London and beyond. But eventually even the bells has to stop, as too many are now dying. The dead are piling up everywhere, and churchyards are overflowing. Then suddenly there is hope. Fumigation. James Onge, a celebrated expert of fumigation, has convinced the king that every 6 households should band together to light a fire. Fumes and smoke would fumigate the city. This could be the cure. For 3 days the fires burn, but then the weather changes and rain falls, putting out the fires.
It is winter 1665 now, all around the city, the dead being thrown into plague pits. However, we have had the first frost of winter, and the plague seems to be sowing. Less are dying now. The calls of bring out your dead are less every day. White crosses are being painted over red ones to show that houses have been plague-free for 40 days. But here in my street, over two-thirds of my friends and neighbours are now with God.
The plague kills over 100,000 people in London, 1/3 of its entire population. And although this outbreak subsides, many more outbreaks kill thousands over the next 400 years.
Even in the 21st century, from 2010 to 2015, over 500 people died of bubonic plague. But now we know how the plague infects its victims, and antibiotics can defeat it in most cases.
And London survived to become one of the largest and most dynamic cities in the world.